Okay, continuing on.
As documented by a 2021 paper in the Journal of Transport and Environment, mass market adoption of electric vehicles will likely require either the government's restrict the sale of gasoline-powered vehicles as planned in some countries in California, or the battery electric vehicles become cost competitive with gas-powered vehicles of similar size and styling. Now, regardless of whether these additional costs are paid by consumers or taxpayers, they make people poorer because these expensive cars ultimately travel fewer miles for every dollar spent. The same applies to other so-called clean energy policies that are prevalent in California. This is a major reason why it has the highest electricity prices in the continental United States, or 77% more than the national average. You are learning facts tonight that you have not learned anywhere else because it's censorship.
77%.
Such policies increase the cost of living and have contributed to making California the state with the highest real poverty rate in America. Despite its so-called green agenda, California dominates the American Lung Association list of cities with the poorest air quality in America. In fact, the nation's worst 4 cities of ozone pollution, worst 5 cities for year-round particle pollution, and worst 2 cities for short-term particle pollution, well, they're all in California. There are certainly many factors, besides energy policies, that have led to those dreadful outcomes in California. But lying to people deprives them of the opportunity to make informed decisions about the pros and cons of those policies. Again, this piece written by James Agresti, September 2, 2022. Electric cars are not zero emission. In justfactsdaily.com, and we are linking to this as well.
James Agresti? I need to look him up.
Wouldn't it be great if we had a truly free press? A truly free press. Wouldn't it be great if we had a truly free internet? Wouldn't it be great if we could actually exchange ideas and make arguments? But that's not the way the Marxists work and their surrogates. They have the answers. They have the ideology. Whether it's healthcare, whether it's energy. And wherever it exists, people suffer. And then comes out the iron fist. I guess more IRS agents. Or an FBI as the sort that we have today, the DOJ, which is why I get enormously disgusted with the likes of Bill Barr and others. We're just too moronic, too obsessed. Really a pity to see the light of the sun instead. They're focused on their own agendas now. Gavin Newsom at a briefing yesterday, cut 12, Mr. Producer, go.
California and many other western states are experiencing simply unprecedented temperatures. In fact, this heat wave is on track to be both the hottest and the longest on record for the state and many parts of the West for the month of September. Californians, you've stepped up to help in a big way to keep the lights on so far, but we're heading to the worst part of this heat wave, and the risk for outages is real and it's immediate. These triple-digit temperatures throughout much of our state are leading, not surprisingly, to record demand on the energy grid. Everyone has to do their part to help step up for just a few more days. Individuals, the state, industries, business, all doing their part to help reduce strain on the grid. Now, here's specifically what you can do. In the early morning hours, particularly tomorrow and the next day or so, pre-cool your home. Run your air conditioning earlier in the day when more power is available. And we encourage you to close your windows and blinds to keep your home cool as well. And today and tomorrow afternoon after 4 p.m., in particular 4 p.m., please turn your thermostat up to 78 degrees or higher and avoid, to the extent possible, using any really large appliances.
And what about food? What shall we do about that? What about food? What about 18-wheelers that bring us food? What about freezers in grocery stores that keep the food edible? What about that? You know what happens when the electric vehicles don't work, folks? That is, we don't have enough electricity. Not only will you suffer, and your children are going to suffer. You watch. We've now reached a point where they will outlaw vehicles altogether. Or outlaw the number of vehicles you can have. Mark my words, right now. I've said this before. Or they will track how many miles you drive. Government only gets more authoritarian, more totalitarian. And then there'll be legal precedent after legal precedent. Federal judge after federal judge. Supreme Court justice after Supreme Court justice. That will rule in their favor. Because once you're unmoored from the Constitution, once you're unmoored, it's hard to get back. Ask the Romans. Oh, there are no Romans. What happened to them? Ask the Athenians of old. Oh, there are no more Athenians. Ask the Persians of old. Oh, they don't exist either. And they all existed longer than we have so far. I worry about this country. You know what's strange, Mr. Producer? I don't get a good night's sleep anymore. I just don't. Because here I know history, you all know history. I know what's happening to the country. I see what's happening to the country. You see it too. And it's hard to just put your head on a pillow and go to sleep when you know these things are taking place. You know what's going to happen in 10 or 20 or 30 years, not because you're Nostradamus, but because you know history.
Yeah.
In a world full of takers,